The program is Bull's Eye on Splash 105.5 FM, the Integrity Station. I am Edmondo Bilo. Good morning and welcome. My guest on the program is a professor of anatomy and human medicine. My guest is Adesegun Banjo A Professor Banjo. It's good to have you on Bull's Eye.
It's a pleasure to be here.
You are a professor of human medicine, but the story that resonates most about you is your exploit during the reign of General Sani Abacha. Your story has been told, how you tried to bring in weapons into this country to dismantle the regime of Sani Abacha. Before the reign of Abacha, did you see yourself like a guerrilla fighter?
No, I'm purely an academician, a scientist, and as well as being a medical doctor, I'm an anatomist as well. But I'm quite aware of the political situation right from before independence. I went to school I went to secondary school at Ibadan Grammar School. Ibadan then was the seat of power in the Western region. So I was rarely exposed to the political situation of the times. I was active in politics too. I won't say I'm an Awolowo boy or man, but I admired, Chief Obafemi Awolowo. And some of us later on, that is after, we came back from university and so on. We always wonder how a highly educated, a philosopher, how he could deal with purely illiterate people who could not even speak English, especially the people from the north in those days. It must be a frustrating experience for him.
At that point, when you admired Awolowo and others, you didn't see any military instinct in you?
No, not really. But after, in 1962, when Awolowo and the leaders of the Western Region government and action group were arrested, we were 2 years into independence, and then I began to see that the Hausa Fulani who took power were not interested in development, but rather in subjugating the rest of Nigeria. That is, bring us into what I will call feudal domination. And I began to wonder that one day we may have to fight these people.
And that one day came.
And that one day, yes, you may say that it came.
Your brother was a military officer.
Yes.
Colonel
Victor Banjo.
Banjo.
Yes.
Did he influence you in any way with his military instinct?
He did. He was highly political too, but only in a quiet way. But he's a patriot. He believed in the unity of Nigeria, absolutely. And he was responsible for so many things, so many good things. If his ideas and policies had been carried out, Nigeria would not be in a situation like this.
Did you visit him at any time when he was a military officer?
Oh, yes, I lived with him. And we used to talk about, especially before I went to university, after, you see, in those days, you don't go to university until after HSC. So by the time you finish HSC, you're already a fairly grown-up person, knowledgeable, and more or less you have developed a certain amount of critical thinking. So we used to discuss a lot. And he used to tell me that he's afraid that one day, if we are not careful, this country may go into pieces.
Did you have the opportunity at any time to play with weapons while you lived with him?
No, but I used to see his pistol, army officers carry pistol. I used to see his pistol and He showed me a few things, how to handle a pistol, how to shoot. But I went for trainings, especially for what I later on did.
You were in the United States when June 12th election was about to be organized.
I went to the U.S., but I was always coming back. I was in the country even in that 1994. I was in the country. I came to bury my mother and my son too.
When you were in the country, you saw how the military dealt with demonstrators.
Oh,
here.
yes, of course. Yes, I saw that. I witnessed that, yes.
You saw the military killing protesters.
I saw the military killing protesters, yes. In fact, that's one of the things that gave me, give me greater resolve on what I later did, increased my resolve that we have to remove Abacha.
So you were bent on removing Abacha?
Yeah, but there are also some episodes in the U.S. At a conference in U.S., a conference to write off poor countries' debts. And names of countries in Asia, Africa were mentioned that, the World Bank and or whatever they call them, that they should write off their debt, that they will never be able to pay those debts. And some of us who are Nigerian mentioned Nigeria, and one white fellow, he was one of the economic advisors in the country in U.S. He said, forget Nigeria. That Nigeria is a very rich country, one of the richest countries in the world. That even one person can pay Nigerians' debt. One person. So I asked him, I said, how do you know that? He said, we're in a position to know. Later on, I realized that, you can't deposit any money. Anybody who comes to America and you deposit money, it is reported to the IRA, Internal Revenue. So you cannot make a bank deposit, no matter how small, even $1,000, $500, it is reported to the IRS, Internal Revenue Service.
So what happened there that triggered your anger?
So at that conference, the man said, the economist said, forget about Nigeria. That there are rich people who can pay our debts. And then, I can't sometimes say, I can't tell the difference between Fulani and Hausa, but we classify all of them as being Hausa. He got up. He said, we have ruled Nigeria since independence. That the British knew we were better rulers. That's why they handed over power to us. That is to them, to the Hausa Fulani hegemony. And that to hand over power, that we were born to rule. But then that is said in Nigeria already. And that to hand over power to the South was to commit suicide. To hand over power to us to commit suicide, I boiled where I sat. I was boiling. I just came to the conclusion that finally what I thought about years ago has come to occur.
Well, that was just the comment of one man.
But everybody, it is not a comment of one man. You come to Nigeria, you meet everybody, all these people, they say we are born to rule. Let me also tell you something that goes on in US at that time. When you introduce yourself as a Nigerian, they ask, are you a Hausa? The Americans or the foreign, are you a Hausa? Why do they ask that? They have associated the Hausa Fulani as the elite group, the first-class citizens of Nigeria.
You are well educated.
Yes.
You schooled in Makerere, went to Oxford.
Yes. Yeah.
Why did that kind of ethnic argument agitate your mind that badly?
It is not an ethnic argument. It is behavior. The people behave as if we, the rest of people in Nigeria, were second-class citizens to the Hausa Fulani. And the Hausa Fulani let them know that, yes, we are indeed second-class citizens.
Did you rise at that conference to take him up?
No, we should not wash our linen in publicly, our dirty linen in Nigeria. I just went out. And that is when I said, we must do something.
And this happened during the reign of Abacha?
It happened during the reign of Abacha.
So at that point, you made up your mind you were going to fight?
Yes.
But you were not a politician at the time.
Anybody can fight. Even a dog can fight. If you drive him to the wall, he will fight.
You didn't think of losing your profession or losing your life fighting against the dangerous Abacha?
Everybody has a life. Nobody is immune to death. Nobody. And there are times when it is better to fight than to die as a slave, as an enslaved people.
But you were not a slave.
If I begin to tell you what happens to us, signs of enslavement, a lot of people don't realize it. It is a sign, and enslavement is a sign when, for instance, in government, they bring somebody, you are senior people, highly educated, and they bring somebody who is a university, who just left the university to come and be your boss. It's under the guise of quota system. You didn't meet the quota system to see what it did to us. It's an enslavement when after you work with somebody in the same office, you are in the same grade, and you can't even walk. They get this Benz as they call it at one time, and this guy, the house of and he writes a Mercedes Benz, and you now later on get up that he gets extra money. At the end of the month, those of them are called in and given dollars. It is an enslavement when, at a departmental meeting, the head of the department, nearly all the heads of all departments were Hausa Fulani. Even in the government, especially in the civil service. And at meetings that you should speak English, they start to speak Hausa. You complain but nothing happens, and then you have to walk out at time. I know a lot of my colleagues who had to walk out. You are enslaved. It's not until they put shackles on you that is enslavement.
So your anger started building up from the 1960s.
It has been, yes, it has been.
And during Abacha's time, it boiled over.
It didn't boil, but it was there. It's just that I then decided that, yes, I have to do something.
The program is Bull's Eye on Splash 105.5 FM, the Integrity Station. I am discussing with Professor Adesegun Banjo. He's a professor of anatomy and human medicine. We'll be back after this break, so don't go away. Welcome back. Professor Adesegun Banjo on Bull's Eye. Professor Banjo, so you then made up your mind to fight Abacha. What was the first thing you did?
I knew I had to educate myself on military power. I knew I had to understand how dictators think, because I realized I'm going to be fighting a dictator. You see, if you want to fight somebody, you want to know how he thinks, not how you expect him to think, not how you think he should think, but how he actually thinks. Then you can outthink him. So I studied dictators.
How did you study them? You were reading books?
Yes, I read about Castro. I read about Hitler. I read about...
Did you read about Che Guevara?
Che Guevara, yeah. I even read the two books on Cuban Revolution and the guerrilla conduct of guerrilla war.
Did you study the Vietnam War?
Of course, I was in America during the Vietnam War, so I knew quite a lot about it already, you know. and I studied about. In fact, one of the person who spoke to me, whom I spoke to, who educated me a lot, was a guy who came to Philadelphia. He was a major in Vietnam during the Vietnamese War. He's about 45, but he had known no peace. Right from the very age of about 7, he used to lie in the paddies, rice paddies underwater, and spy on Americans going through.
He fought for Ho Chi Minh.
He was with Ho Chi Minh. He has fought all his life, so he knew about. So I spoke to people like that,
Did you pay him?
No.
He gave you everything free of charge?
Yes, the people are willing. When they see that you are a sincere fighter for freedom, that you want to fight, they are willing to help you. People are willing to help you. It's only in this country that we think more everybody, money. Mm-mm.
You also got an American consultant, right?
No, I didn't get any American consultant. I just spoke to people, a lot of people in various areas that I know would help. I don't want to mention that aspect at all because a lot of things happen.
While you were studying for your guerrilla war, did you consult Nigerian politicians, some of them who were in exile at the time?
That would be dangerous to do. Never did. But I tried to organize among us Nigerians who felt, especially Southerners, mostly Yoruba, who felt the same way I felt. But you see, and we were to build a core army of just 50. I mean, Castro started with 98. They were ambushed in the Syrian massacre because they have been betrayed. They slaughtered all of them. Only 7 survived with his brother, who is now the current president. Raul, Che Guevara, and then 4 other persons. I don't remember their names now. In fact, you don't need a crowd to start a guerrilla warfare.
I learned some Nigerians you brought together had to abandon you.
They do abandon us, very much. They abandon us.
When you talked about weapons?
I'm training, yes. They were still okay, say, they will come. I say, okay, individually let us buy our own weapons for training so that you get used to it. In guerrilla army, your own weapon is your survival. One by one, they give reasons. It means their dedication is not complete. They talk about it, and that's what is happening in this country. Everybody talks about what is going on, about corruption. Everybody, even the people who are corrupted themselves, the people who are stealing our money, looting the nation, they talk about it. But everybody keeps quiet or they do nothing. In some countries, what is happening now cannot be happening. The people will have risen up. Cannot be. See what is happening in Brazil. Not long ago, they removed their president. She did not steal money. She didn't steal any money. There was no money in offshore account. They traced that, nothing. They didn't. But because she diverted money into some economic area, it was obvious. All the money could be accounted for. They said that was a crime. I told somebody that you don't come to Nigeria and see what is going on.
I learned you decided to invest your life savings.
Yes.
On your guerrilla war.
Yes.
You started buying weapons.
We started buying weapons. Before we started buying weapons, I educated myself about types of weapons that were in existence. What type of weapons? Because guerrilla weaponry is specific.
You wanted to assassinate people.
But in a guerrilla warfare, you have to at times.
Did you have names in your list?
I wouldn't tell you about that word.
But certainly you were going to bring Abacha down.
We were going to bring Abacha down, yes. He's the number one person we were fighting against.
So you collected enough weapons?
We collected enough weapons.
In the United States?
Yes.
How come the CIA did not know?
I wouldn't want to tell you I won't want to tell you about that one.
The FBI did not track you?
They did not, no.
Or they supported you?
No. You want to tell them? A lot of people don't even know the foreign policy of Western powers in Nigeria. So for somebody like me to tell them, that's the end of me. They will clamp me in the deepest part of their jail. No.
But Bill Clinton had to intervene when you were arrested in Benin Republic.
Apparently, they must have, because Abacha paid Shoglu, according to information that reached us, $100 million to send up back.
Where did you buy your weapons in the United States? From shops?
We bought them there are a lot of international weapons markets in US. They hold them all over US, you know. Yeah. But I'm not going to tell you how, because some other groups may want to do that. If I tell you all these things, I believe this country that, except we change, and I hope Buhari is on the right path. I hope he's sincere, as he was during his time with Adesegun. If he's sincere, then there's a hope for this country. He has my support now. What he's trying to do, because corruption is the cancer of our society. The cancer. And no nation, nobody tissue can survive in the presence of a cancerous body.
How were you able to move your containers out of the United States?
I won't tell you that one.
Did you bribe FBI, CIA agents?
No.
They didn't check the container?
No. But I won't tell you.
You had such high caliber weapons, and the United States government didn't know?
No, I'm not going to tell we did it. But one thing I want you to know, where there's a will, there is always a way.
You must have spent a lot of money.
Yes.
Did you get money from any other person?
I won't answer that question.
Why?
Why? Because I must protect those people.
You were a transformed being while you were doing all this, right?
Yes. You have to be transformed. I was transformed but you see, the knowledge I had, academic knowledge, and more than that, I had more. You see, in Makerere too, while I was in Makerere, during the holidays, I used to do a lot of crazy things, you might call it. I bought a scooter and I used to travel all around East African countries, even meeting some those people who are fighting. You know, there was a lot of guerrilla activities there. We are meeting those people.
You've always been a revolutionary. Perhaps you kept it quiet.
I never thought that I was. I was a scientist. If you ask me, I had a vision. My vision was to become a medical doctor, a scientist, and a researcher. And I excel in it. I broke the university record. I did my PhD in 1 year with courses now. PhD with courses in 1 year, 10 months, and 3 weeks.
Obviously, you come from a very brilliant family, no doubt.
My PhD was taken up by the American academic community. It was read all over the place, and it was copyrighted. It went to the copyright office. They suggested that it should be published as a book, not in little journals, so that people can get. Because I made a lot of discoveries, and it was copyrighted in 1970 and published in November 1975. It was regarded as being worth. I can show you a copy of it. It was regarded as being worth at least 18 original research papers with discoveries.
You were going to water down these achievements with a guerrilla instinct?
No, I won't say it. Guerrilla activity does not water it down. Look, for instance, a common man on the street cannot organize guerrilla warfare or a revolution. Look at all the revolutions in history, which I read. Cuban Revolution, Dr. Castro, his brother, Che Guevara, they were all highly educated people. Dr. Castro had a PhD in law. He was a university lecturer. Museveni was educated. Franco was educated. General Franco in Spain, who ruled for 30 years, but he was a patriot, not like Abacha. He was a patriot, a true patriot. They were all educated. Dedan Kimathi, you've heard of Dedan Kimathi?
Yeah.
Dedan Kimathi is the one who founded the Mau Mau in Kenya, not Kenyatta. He was the one who founded Mau Mau in Kenya. He was the one who led the Kenya. He was a headmaster, Dedan Kimathi. The British captured him and executed him. He was an educated headmaster, highly educated. Okay. So it's only educated people, knowledgeable people who can bring a change, who can cause a change. Because you must know what changes you want. You must know how to get about it. You must know the risk. You must know what it takes. And you are the one who is likely to get the funding or have the funding for such an enterprise.
By the time your container landed in Benin,
yes,
who were those your people that informed you that you needed to pay some amount of money?
Oh, but we had to, like I go to a power. You want to get something, you have to bribe people, you have to, but besides, we wanted to, you see, there's an ECOWAS law. Things in transit through ECOWAS countries cannot be opened by the arrival port. It must be escorted by the custom officers through that country to the border of the country it is going to. But still, you have to pay the port people, you have to bribe them.
So you paid a lot of bribe?
Yes, we did.
And you were not there when the container landed?
We were not there when the container, we didn't even know until almost a whole month.
You were already in Nigeria?
We were already in Nigeria.
Waiting for your consignment?
Yes, waiting for it, yes.
You'll tell us more after this break. The program is Bullseye on Splash 105.5 FM, the Integrity Station. Bullseye on Splash 105.5 FM, the Integrity Station. Professor Adesegun Banjo is my guest. Was it that your consignment were not well packaged? The reason the gentlemen there saw it?
It was well packaged.
So how did they see the gun?
They didn't. What happened was, we wanted to bring the container out of the port. We bribed them to allow us to carry the container out of the port. On the morning we were to carry that container, the representative or the owners of the container, they were in Norway or something, Norwegian, is it Copenhagen? I can't remember now. They told their representatives, I was there in a phone call, they told their representatives that Nigerians, when they take containers from Benin, they don't return it. That I should deposit $5,000 there before taking the container out. $5,000. It's not something, I don't carry such money around. So we decided to offload into a lorry. And unfortunately, the one person I got to assist us happens to be an agent, a security agent, dressed as a porter. And he saw the bot, just not even the, yes, he saw the wood. Guns are assembled in a well-shaped, in a wood, in a stock. He saw the stock of the weapon, of an SKS. And he managed, without my knowledge, he managed to smuggle it, give it to another agent who came near the container. And suddenly they swooped on us.
You came with your wife?
Yes.
But why did you go there with her that day?
Oh, I came with lots of people to help us to offload.
How many containers?
I won't tell you that. I won't answer that question.
And that was how you were arrested?
Yes. They took the container and examined it throughout the night.
And they saw magical weapons?
And they saw weapons, yes.
Weapons they didn't have?
They didn't even know about it. In fact, it was my wife who was telling them certain things which army officers were supposed to know.
So your wife had the detail?
Yes.
Why did you involve her?
Let me tell you something. In a guerrilla army, you don't write things down. You need an assistant you can trust. If at least almost absolutely. People can sell out for money easily. Not only for money, some pressures. Some people can't withstand pressures. Even among some of my colleagues, there is a limit to the trust I put on each and every one of them.
You trusted your wife most?
Most, yes.
And you were sure she wasn't going to betray you?
I know she wasn't going to betray me.
And she paid the price with you?
Yes. She went to prison with me. I would say 1 person out of 10 million would not have gone to prison with me. Because they asked her to leave, to go away.
She was even ready to pay the price?
She said no, and she wrote a statement that implicated herself. That was...
She did that?
Yes.
Why didn't you advise her to go?
I advised her. She said, with 2 of us, it is better that way. In fact, at one time, she suggested I should let her take the responsibility for that alone. That she should take the responsibility. That with me outside, I can fight for her release. Now, for her being outside. But then we finally decided that it is better that we are 2. Because if they have to kill us, they have to kill 2 people, isn't it? With me alone, they can kill me easily. They try to.
Your wife must be a strong woman.
She is.
A revolutionary too.
Yes.
She hated Abacha too.
Yes. Who does not hate Abacha? I think everybody hates Abacha.
Your wife is an Igbo woman, as I know.
Yes. My second wife, my first wife had died.
Okay.
She's an Igbo woman, yes.
How many months did you spend in detention in Benin Republic?
14 months.
You were eventually released?
Yes, we were eventually released, yes.
Abacha wanted you by all means?
Very much so.
How come Benin Republic did not release you to Abacha?
I would say that a foreign power intervened on our behalf and told Shoglo not to send us.
This foreign power is the United States of America?
I will not confirm that.
President Bill Clinton?
I will not confirm that.
He called Shoglo and told Shoglo not to release you to Abacha.
That is the information that came to us, that a powerful head of state and another head of state has informed Shoglo not to send us back.
After Shoglo collected Abacha's money?
Yes.
And they used you as a bait for Abacha, right?
Of course, not only Shoglo, even Kereku, they used us as a bait to get money from Abacha.
And at the end of the day, they released you?
They didn't release us. I would say it is the judiciary that released us.
But at the point when the judiciary released you, Shoglo also called the judiciary and said, no, you're not going anywhere.
No, it was not Shoglo. Shoglo had left. It was Kereku.
It was Kereku that said you must not go.
And that we should be arrested.
At what point did you meet Moshood Fayemi?
Fayemi? I admire him too. He's a great man.
A journalist?
He's a journalist. He knows a lot. Believe me. His knowledge is rich. And he helped us to escape.
To escape into Ghana?
To Accra. After we were released. After we were released, we were still haunted.
How come Jerry Rawlings did not keep you in Ghana?
He knew we were there. Jerry Rawlings knew we were there. In fact, one of the clerks, senior person, not just a clerk in UNHCR, his uncle was a high security person in Ghana. So he told me that they knew we were here.
But Rawlings did not make any attempts to contact you and your wife?
No.
So why did you leave Accra? You felt unsafe?
Initially, we had to leave Accra because delegations, Nigerian delegations were coming to Rawlins, and presumably they were trying to bring pressure to bear on him to arrest us and send us back.
How did you know that?
My God. Well, we knew, we saw them. You know, we never slept one night, more than one night in a place, except when we go to what we call deep cover region, deep cover place.
Was anybody working with you in Ghana at the time?
Yes.
Somebody taking you around?
We go. No, nobody takes us around. We go ourselves. If we sleep one here, night here, the next night we will sleep in another place.
Did you still have money at the time?
We still have some money, yes, and then we ran out of money after a while.
At what point did you and your wife move into Uganda?
We had to rush to Uganda one weekend. I think it was a Friday. On the TV, people saw our foreign minister, the ambassador, and somebody, one person who is high in Abacha's government, talking on the TV to, I think it's President, I'm not so sure, but talking on the TV. So we just concluded that these people are coming to negotiate for either arrest or something. So we took off to Ghana, to Uganda.
Did you meet Museveni at any time?
No.
Was he welcoming?
So during this time?
Yes.
He knew of our existence. We wrote a letter to him. In fact, the Uganda people helped us initially, I must say. They kept us safe. They kept us safe.
But at a point you had to leave Uganda again.
Because pressure was on, I believe, pressure was on Museveni. And Ugandans don't want to annoy
Nigeria.
Abacha, it wasn't Abacha who was in power then. It was Abubakar.
Okay.
It was Abubakar. Abacha
had died by then.
Died, yes. So it was Abubakar. So we just, you don't wait until, in a situation like that, like this, you don't wait until they are going to put a noose. You have to outthink. You remember what I told you? You have to outthink people to anticipate what they can do, and you take necessary steps to avoid.
So how did Zimbabwe come in?
We ran to Zimbabwe from
Uganda.
From Uganda, they said we must leave. They said we must leave.
I thought at the time you knew Idi Amin.
Yes, when I was that was a long time ago. That was in 1970, when I was practicing in Mulago Hospital in Uganda.
Did you treat his mother at any time?
Yes, it was his mother who was very sick. And so I had to communicate with him all the time to tell him how the mother was faring.
You didn't use that link when
no.
you ran into trouble with the Nigerian state?
No. At that time, Idi Amin was already in Saudi. Yes. Amin was in Saudi at that time.
You later came back to Nigeria. Were you hounded at any time by the Nigerian Security Service?
When we came back, I was under a house arrest in this place for 6 months.
This was under Obasanjo?
Obasanjo.
Under house arrest?
Yes.
For 6 months?
Yes.
You could not leave?
We were told not to leave. Bolage said we should not leave. He was a great friend of mine.
Were there security men around here?
I presume so, yes. Oh, there is an SS office down there.
Were they guarding your house at the time?
No, well, I cannot tell, but there was evidence that they probably were.
But you didn't make any attempt to leave the house?
No.
So how did you survive? How did you eat? Who brought food for you?
My wife could go out.
But you could not go out?
I could not go out. I didn't go out.
So at what point did you start going out?
It was in January, I think. Then the SSS came to pick me up here to Abuja.
For questioning?
Yes.
What did they ask you?
A lot of questions, but I won't tell you that. But Colonel Are, he was the head of the SS now, and he was a very good man.
Did you regret the move you made during the Abacha era?
I don't regret it. But
you lost your life savings.
Yes, but you know why I did not regret it? I did not regret the act itself. We did what was right. At least we succeeded in causing the removal of Abacha. We did not succeed in causing a revolution.
You wanted a revolution?
Yes, because without a revolution, if we had a revolution, the kind of people in power will not be there.
Were you ready to be the president of Nigeria? What was your plan?
You know, somehow I did not think I wanted to be the president of Nigeria.
But you were going to lead a revolution. So who were you going to hand over to?
What I thought I would do. And some of my people agreed with me. We thought we would get Abiola released and get him to take over as president because the people voted for him. And we have done a manifesto, and we will give him our manifesto that for the sake of the country and for the people who died and who made it possible for him to come back to be president, to put into effect that manifesto, that is to put into action what was in that manifesto. It was a great manifesto.
Do you still have the manifesto?
Yes.
Are you going to give me the manifesto?
No, I won't give it to you. But some of it will be in my book. I'm writing a book now.
You're writing a memoir?
A book, yes. Just about it. I'm writing a book.
When are you going to be done with the book?
The book is titled The Revolution Postponed.
When are we going to read the book?
Maybe, so I will say sometimes next year. Because I call it The Revolution Postponed.
You still believe a revolution will come?
It will come. There's no way.
Even if Buhari did well?
For a revolution needs not to be violent. A progressive change can be a form of a revolution. A progressive change is a form of a revolution. How long for us to change in Nigeria, we can't effect a change. Buhari can start that change by curbing corruption. If corruption is curbed at all levels, the change would be fantastic. But you see, you need continuity of a change. 8 years, Buhari is gone. I hope those who will come there. That is also part of our problem in this country.
Professor Adesegun Banjo,
yes.
Thank you for speaking with Splash FM.
It's a pleasure.
I've been speaking with Professor Banjo, Professor of Anatomy and Human Medicine. You have any comment? You can send a text or WhatsApp message. The number is 080-999-18449. 080-999-18449. You can leave a message for me on my Twitter page. My Twitter handle is @eobilo. Next Monday is another time on Bull's Eye. I am Edmond Obilo. Thank you for listening.